What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, back with your girl D. Finally. I think everyone missed you.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
missed y'all.
It was weird not having you on for the last few videos, but we are back with a Q&A because I'm assuming you've probably seen the 2 parts of the coming out cult story time that I just dropped. If you haven't, don't worry. We've dropped it into the description box below so you can catch up on part 1 and part 2. We're gonna tackle a little bit about what we talked about, what I talked about, with some questions.
Yeah.
But before we do that, thank you for being here. Thank you for the outpouring of love, comments, support, just kind words from all of you. I'm just blown away and overwhelmed by how supportive you all been, and just really glad that it's something that resonated with you, and it's something that's really touched D as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's just better help us all understand each other, even D understand me a little bit better too, which is the point of all of it. So yeah, before we get into the questions, how are you feeling, D? Quick energy check.
Well, before I do an energy check on myself, just a little bit of context, because obviously, like, you know, we've been together for 3 years, and I've heard this story multiple times, and hearing it over again and having you record yourself kind of felt like a therapy session, right? Like, I think it's different when like you're with your therapist, aka like the phone or whatever, our YouTube friends, versus like kind of just telling me out of like sadness or telling me out of like just like
despair.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned a lot, y'all. I learned a lot. Part 1 was a little bit it was harder because I really saw your true emotion. There were a lot of edits and cuts that you all didn't see, with her just kind of like holding back her tears, and you know, and that hurts me as her partner. But I want to say that I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. And again, we've been together. It's gonna be 3 years in October, and I want to say that like your growth is unbelievable. If I ever went through, or if I did, or you know, when I was younger, ever went through what you've been through, I don't know how I would cope. So I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
And
you're making me teary.
And there's a lot of people that are really proud of you. And it took us months, months to record this video, and always like, okay, on your time, but with the reassurance that there are people out there that are going through what you're going through. So just know that even if it's 1 or 2 people that left a comment, or people that didn't leave a comment, they felt impacted, and we've heard that in person and through virtual settings. So thank you all for being so supportive to my girlfriend. I really appreciate it, and I am proud of you. So yeah. So these questions, I came up with these questions because, again, when I was editing and watching, I'm like, I have questions and I didn't ask you them yet. And I'm sure you all had possibly similar questions too. And if I missed any questions that you all want to ask Kay, feel free to drop it in the comments. But I have about 8-9 questions, so I think we can get into it. My energy's dope. I'm happy to be here with you. How do you feel?
Good. I'm emotional kind of talking about all of it, but again, I don't think people know, like, I recorded that maybe like 5 times total.
You recorded part 1 5 times and part 2 10 times.
Like, it was, but not on purpose, y'all.
No.
Like, the cameras were messing up, the microphone, like, it cut off, the storage because it was long. Like,
oh my God.
I had to persevere to get these stories out, and it was testing me, because there were a few times where I was like, you know what, like, screw it, like, it's not even worth it. But even if it just helped one person, even just going through the struggle and then recording it, just to have one person feel like they're not alone, it was worth it.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. Start with a high five.
My hands are sweaty now, so it's okay. It's okay.
We kind of already covered this, but I want to start it with, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been an emotional few days, I'm not gonna lie. Just reading all of your comments, I wake up and like I'll read a new comment and I cry.
True story.
If you didn't know, I'm a crybaby.
Oh,
so
big one. True story, y'all. She's not over exaggerating.
I've been crying a lot because, again, it is uncomfortable to share, and just to see that it did end up being the right decision, because the feedback, positive feedback has been overwhelming is worth it. So I'm in good spirits and just so happy you all are here.
Good.
How are you feeling?
Oh, yeah. if honestly, y'all, if Kay's good, I'm good, and you know. But even if you weren't good, I will always be your backbone. I will always hold you up. So, but obviously, it's a plus if she is okay. So, that's good.
I'm doing good.
Okay, 2 thumbs up. Kay is doing good, y'all. Question number 2: why didn't you leave the church sooner?
I didn't leave sooner because I didn't see an escape route immediately. And again, as I touched on, I was afraid of disappointing my parents and afraid that I was going to go to hell if I left because this was the only way of life that I knew. So as much as I contemplated it, there was not a clear door to get out until it was presented to me. And then I knew exactly when that was. And I left when my household was broken up.
For sure. And like in recent conversations, and I mean, you've said this a couple of times too, like the sense of community, right? Like these are people that Kay has been around since a child. Like you were born into the church and you grew with these people. So I can only imagine how it feels to leave or to lose childhood friends, right?
Yeah.
These are the only people that you know, right? So
I cried over them for years. Like I was mourning them, my friends, you know, friends that did not check up on me ever, like still haven't, you know, friends, right?
And that's fine.
Yeah. And
That's
you know,
fine.
it is what it is. And it's just like, I know that they weren't crying over me, but I was crying over them for a long time. And, you know, it is what it is, right?
This is about your sexuality. How did you know the feelings that you were having during, you know, you said by the age of 7 and obviously like high school, whatever. How did you know it wasn't a phase?
At first I thought that maybe it was a phase. I thought that maybe like I was just, you know, I had an overactive imagination, which I do. Or I just thought that maybe it was because I don't really care so much about looks, but really care about people, where I was just like, they're just like a good person, like guy or girl, they're just good people. And like, that's what I'm after. I'm after good energy, and I'm still that way, honestly.
True.
But I knew it wasn't a phase when it just kept reoccurring. No matter how hard I tried to shove it down and like pray it away and throw it away, it just kept coming back.
Yeah.
And it kept coming back stronger. And then, yeah, you know how the story goes. Then when I knew, I knew.
Yeah. And I think that's hard for people to understand, especially if you don't have the feelings that we've had as you know, teenagers growing up. And people might say, oh, you know, it's just your emotions and your hormones acting up. But
I've heard that one.
I've heard it too. But I'm here to validate your feelings. Like I understand that, you know, like, oh my goodness, I'd pray it away.
Yeah.
You know,
I tried, y'all.
You tried.
And the thing is, though, it's like what people I think fail to understand, and maybe unless you're in these shoes, you'll get more, is that like, who wakes up and wants to choose the hardest path?
No.
The road less traveled. Like, who wakes up and says...
There are some people that do.
Okay.
There are some people that do.
Fair.
But speaking for ourselves.
Fair. Yeah. But like, y'all, I was just growing up singing, playing the piano, just a little music nerd, you know, trying to get my straight A's and all that. Why would I like consciously choose to make my life harder? How would I even have dreamed that up possibly? Never even being exposed to that. You all know I wasn't exposed to that, so it wasn't like, ooh, I'm choosing this. It's like it chose me, man. Like I don't know what to say, but as soon as I started to just accept it, there was less conflict within me, and you can't fight it, whether it's a phase or not. You have to just embrace it and go through it and figure out what it is.
100%. Question number 4: would you return to any church?
Ooh, I've tried this low key. That's another story time. No, I don't think so. Like, I think if I like visited a service, that's different. Maybe. I think I'm more inclined to maybe do like a virtual service where like they can't see me and I'm just listening to a sermon if I find like a good fit, if I want to hear a message or something, right? But I don't I'm so emotionally scarred and like spiritually scarred from these kinds of things. I don't see myself ever being a part of a church community in depth like that again.
Yeah, I don't know if we told you this, but we are believers, firm believers. And one thing Kay told me, and we often have like Bible studies, or Kay reads the
Yeah,
Bible to me.
we do.
And one thing she told me, and it will stick with me for the rest of my life, is she said, church is where you make it. And you can break that down for the viewers.
I mean, like, we are the church. The people are the church. If we have, you know, the Bible and we are two people and we are gathered and worshiping together, we are essentially a form of a church, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be in a building with a cross outside to be at church. Like, your community and your prayer can be church. Like, when we've sat down with my mom and my dad and we've read the Bible together and prayed together and had a mini, like, you know,
Devo.
sharing, mini Devo.
Yeah.
Whoa, lingo. We had a mini Devo. Like,
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
church.
it was powerful.
That was church. And
Yeah.
like, we've done that, you know.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Years later, like, all of this, y'all know the story now. And like, years later with my girlfriend, we've like shared space with my mom and my dad, who are still, you know, firm believers, and we've opened the Bible up with them and read the Bible and like had a discussion and prayed together. Like, we had a worship service together, you know, and it was just the four of us, and it was intimate and it was beautiful.
I hate that sexuality gets clouded in that. And that's a discussion for a different video, because, you know, people like to weaponize the Bible, and it's very sad. But back to the question. Cool. Yeah. Church is where you make it, y'all. We'll be driving to the storage, and she'll bring the Bible and she'll read me stories. And like, they're awesome, and we'll talk about it, and I'll ask her questions. And man, if I was in the church, you'd be my disciple, because Kay is, man, you're so approachable.
I mean, one of the I guess benefits to growing up in the church and being so well read is like, I know all the stories and I know scriptures, you know, by heart and all that stuff. And so now I get to like share that with Dee, and we have discussions about it. And like, I now see, like, I was meant to know these things so that I could like share that in my own way.
Yeah. And that's all he wants.
Yeah.
That's all he wants, right? And obviously to have a good heart.
Yeah.
Right? Number 5. How did you mend your relationship with God?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm not editing that.
How did I mend my relationship with God? Okay, I'm gonna just give y'all the raw, honest truth. Like I mentioned, I ignored him for many years. So all of this happened when I was like 21. Him and I didn't start to like really talk again until like I was like 26.
Wow.
27. Like, I ignored him. I was mad.
Those are the years that you need him, though.
Those were the years that I needed him.
Excuse me.
But you know what? He allowed me to do my thing. Never left my side. But he was like, I know you're ignoring me, and you know, it hurt him. I know it hurt him, but you know, I'll be here with you whether you like it or not. And it got to a point where I was probably at one of the lowest points I've ever been in my life. He didn't intervene, just let me do my thing until I made enough choices where I was on my knees, like begging. He said, man, I thought you never would ask. And then just scooped me up. And we've been rocking ever since. Like, I just realized that it was about what I needed, and timing. It's all in his timing. And I was ignoring that and being stubborn. But eventually, I started fresh, and I started praying again. I started opening up my Bible and rebuilt the relationship from the beginning with what I knew, but just started fresh. And it's been like the most beautiful journey ever since.
What has been the most rewarding thing about leaving?
Whoa, having my sanity back, like not being like humiliated, not having to conform and buy in, and just like my mental health improved significantly after that. It was just the most freeing experience, and I don't regret that for a second. One of the best decisions I've ever made was leaving.
Yeah. And like, I know you've recently said that, you know, the church has changed, and like, I don't know the church, but you know, you've showed me some stuff, and I know you're so happy to see that, you know, it's evolving and it's different now. So.
Yeah, because I just don't want other people to have stories like mine. I don't want to see other little Caitlyns get hurt. Like, it's not worth it. And I think one of the other things that was just one of the best things to come of this is, I think had I stayed in the church, I wouldn't have this relationship that I have with God now. I would have never actually found him and developed a strong foundation in which, you know, there is now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have just been based on the criteria. You know?
Facts. Just doing it to do it because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, going through the motions, like.
Crazy, because like I've heard that with many people, like there's power in numbers, right? Like if your surroundings, or if your social group is doing something, and like, I don't know, usually things that are positive, right? Like you wanna also like form or conform to feel like you're a part of the community and not feel left out.
Yeah.
Even if it's not you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is you, because, you know, getting baptized, it's really beautiful. It's beautiful, y'all. You know, but there is, when peer pressure is a thing, yeah, you could really,
especially when they say your soul is aligned, like
you going to hell.
You most likely, you're not gonna hesitate. You're gonna just like hop on the bandwagon, but you gotta make decisions that serve you.
Have you kept in touch or remained friends with anyone from church?
Yes, I've kept in touch with not a lot of people, to be honest. Like I said, not many circled the block for me. So I didn't really put in the effort either to try and, you know, regain those friendships either. I didn't care to. But I do have like 2 best friends who were also baptized that left. One of them did leave with me, essentially, to this day, like my best friend. So I have one best friend here in Toronto, and I have one bestie in Boston. And then one of the women that studied the Bible with me, who honestly was an angel, like phenomenal, and was one of the only people who didn't have bad intentions, is still someone very close to me. But honestly, outside of those 3, like I keep it cool with like a few other people, but no one like really close. Like I said, I still have family in that church, but that's it.
You're good. Because again, there are some things that she left out that like I recently found out, with just like asking you like, hey, like how did you feel in that moment when like this happened, or when you know, entered the, you know what I'm saying, for a different day or whatever between us, and the emotions that you felt and the way you explained that, like you're good, you know, sometimes you gotta forgive and forget, and you've done that. Because so what triggers you? So I know it's the music.
Yeah. Church music triggers me. Certain phrases, certain words from the Bible, scriptures trigger me too. Oh, you know what else triggers me too? Different parts of the city that remind me of my times being with the church. Like places where I had like Devo on Friday was like at like U of T. So like if I drive by certain intersections where like we used to meet, or where like the household, sister, brothers' households used to be, my palms get really sweaty.
You know,
because I just remember everything. It comes back. You know,
that's a Caitlyn symptom. Her palms get really sweaty.
You're sweaty right now.
Oh, I know. She couldn't even high five me at the beginning of the video.
Should adapt.
This is the last question, and there are a lot of people that have been through what you've been through. You know, being queer in the church, or just being, you know, queer and feeling like they have to be closeted. I was there, you know. What is some advice that you can give to them?
That's a heavy one, because you end up feeling despair in that position. Like you feel hopeless, you know. But all I can really say, y'all, is stay true to yourself. If you feel something, you owe it to yourself to investigate in a safe way what that means to you and what that is to you. Because whether you investigate it now or in 30 years when you have a midlife crisis, it's going to come up. Either way, however you slice the pie is still the pie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're either going to slice it now or you're going to slice it later.
Yeah.
So just be authentic and really listen to yourself. If you are experiencing something, acknowledge it. Don't pull a K and try and ignore it.
Yeah.
Because then the crock pot was bubbling and then it was bubbling over, and by the time obviously everything worked out for what it was supposed to be, but like just pay attention, y'all.
Yeah.
Be authentic. I would say also, if you have someone you trust that you can talk to for your mental health,
that's a big one.
Talk to someone that you can trust. Confide in people that you know will have your back and that love you and just want to make sure that you're okay. And the last thing I would say, which may be a little bit of a controversial suggestion, is I would pray. I would talk to God, even if you don't have a pre-existing relationship. It exists, you just might not be participating in it, but like just try to like just have a conversation and ask for guidance, ask for a sign, ask for just comfort if that's what you need. Whatever it is that you need in this like scary, unpredictable world, there's a way. And I would say honestly, that is why I have peace now.
That was great advice.
Thanks.
That was great. Hey y'all, like, you got this, and if we can do it, you can do it too. And we have healthy love. We have family on both sides that love each other and that love us and want to see us evolve and grow together as a family. And I never thought, being a 17-year-old kid, that I would have this, and that is
Me neither.
Yeah. And that's with and through God, and we're not trying to say, believe in, we're not that, but just speaking on our behalves, like, this is a relationship through God.
Yeah.
And this is why we have what we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Dee, for making this a very safe space for me to share. Thank you for editing the videos and being patient with me when I had to record them like over 12 times. Like, y'all don't even know the struggle, but Dee was over here getting it together, making sure everything, made sense and looked good. So thank you for that. And just thank you for honestly for being my person, for being my rock, for being not only my partner, but like my best friend, for real.
High five.
Still
sweaty?
Yeah, still sweaty. No! Last but definitely not least, thank you to y'all. Without the community we have here, this doesn't have as much weight or context or whatever. It just, you've made this so much easier for me to share and so much easier for me to just accept. I feel less shame going through what I did because the story sounds a lot like yours, and I find a lot of comfort in that, and I hope you find a lot of comfort in that too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, let us know.
Drop it down below.
And we love y'all, and I guess we'll see you in the next video. So thanks for watching, and stay safe, be blessed, drink your water, and
let me say something pretty cool. Drink your water and you got this.
Peace out, y'all.